think we're going to do a quick interview. And mainly what I contacted you was about travel. We met at the Octopus Movement. It was when was that? About a month ago, something like that.
2-3 weeks.
So the movement is basically an organisation. They work with spreading the word around neurodiversity.
Technically, it's not. It's supposed to be non-linear thinking. I still feel like everybody that I've ever met through that has been,
Okay.
I think it just means thinking in a different way. I don't know.
When I was really into the non-linear thinking, I wasn't aware there was a non-linear thinking movement. It was all about not thinking literally, the opposite of thinking literally.
As autistic people, we tend to think very, very literally sometimes.
So you said in your message, you said to me that you're diagnosed as autistic at 57 and ADHD
Yes, both.
at 58. And
So
may I ask how old you are now?
9. So,
Okay.
so this is all very recent.
And how's it been going?
So. I mean, basically, I had a kind of a burnout, and that's how I started then seeing mental health professionals. And so it's a struggle sometimes. Like some days are good, some days are bad. And yeah, so I do struggle with just like getting overexhausted and overcommitting. Based on the discussions that I've had with people in the Octopus group, I think my ADHD side is very, very strong, because some of the friends over there they're medicated for ADHD, which means that that's more stable, but then their autistic side comes like stronger. And because I'm unmedicated by choice, it means that my ADHD is very, very strong, which means that I'm always like seeking the novelty and all this, but then I tend to get very burnt out. So it's a constant balance, a fine balance. And I think I'm still not quite there. I think I'm still doing a bit too much. I've been doing that my whole life, but I'm now, because of menopause as well.
Well, the menopause as well.
So all of those three together, it's like, it's a lot. So I'm trying to find like the right level of socializing, of travel, of work, everything, so that I wouldn't constantly be kind of on the verge.
I'm not quite your age yet. I'm nearly 50 this next birthday.
16 January.
So you're like a decade ahead. So it's important, I think, for me to do this kind of work, because I think there's not many people talk about. The last person I interviewed was also saying that they haven't met many people who in this situation with the ADHD late diagnosis.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know anybody until I joined the Octopus group, and it's been wonderful through that to have a community, to really be able to share experiences. And sometimes we write a lot in the chat, and even that's like super helpful. So a lot of my life is in some ways a dream life, but then I've also struggled. So when I was young, when I moved back to Finland, that was the hardest time in my life. So it was kind of like the reverse culture shock. So I was in my early 20s and had lived in Canada 8 years, then a year in France, and then I moved back to Finland, and I felt like I was a complete alien, and I hated it. I felt like it was the biggest mistake of my life. It's horrible. And I never adjusted back to Finnish culture ever. Like I still hate it, kind of.
What's so bad about Finnish culture for you? For you personally?
That's a whole other story, but I feel like they are very cold people. And in some cases very rude and
in the winter
but
it's very dark.
It's a very different culture than others, and hindsight.
Wow,
I never sought help, so if I had, I would have probably gotten out of it sooner. But it was like really like trying to discover who I am, and part of that was that I had kind of grown up abroad, and a lot of things that I thought were me, I realized that those were actually Finnish culture. Very, very Finnish, and then I was like, if this is all like part of being Finnish, then what am I? I also like probably was struggling with like knowing who I am in general, and all the masking and all of that, and living in a very active way, always traveling, always like going out doing things, and then kind of struggling with getting exhausted. All of that. So that was a really hard time in my life. But then I started really getting into like sort of health, both physical health and mental health things, and started to feel better. But I didn't know anything about neurodivergence. Like for me, if you had asked me what's autistic, like Rain Man, that's the only thing that. But then when I moved here, I met Philippe, my current boyfriend / partner, after about 9 months, and he told me after like a month of dating that he's autistic. And I was like, wow, you can't be. You're so good at communicating. And he was like, well, it's a spectrum. And I was like, I realized I don't know anything about this. I started reading about it.
So that sparked you to get the diagnosis, did it?
Well, not yet.
No.
It sparked me to start looking into what autism is to understand my boyfriend better. And then, but after that, it was probably at least 3 years before actually what happened is it was my subconscious that alerted me. So I woke up from a dream where I had been diagnosed as being
autistic. Right, okay.
And the first thing I did, I texted my boyfriend and my best friend, and they both were like, yeah, duh, didn't you know?
What was the dream about? Was it?
I don't remember the dream itself. I just remember waking up and like in the dream I got this diagnosis and I was thinking, haha, that's so funny. But then they and when they both said like, didn't you know, then my whole life just in some ways kind of fell apart. I had been reading about autism for like 3 years. So every single memory of my entire life versus everything I'd been reading, I started mapping them to each other. Like,
wow.
So that thing that happened when I was 5, that's an autistic thing, and this and so for months, I didn't think about anything else. And I started writing like this list of things that are like autistic traits. And then after that, I saw a psychiatrist who was specialized in autism, I don't know, facility where like high support needs autistic people. I don't think he was aware of how level 1 autism presents in women.
When you say level 1, what do you mean?
I'm talking about the DSM.
Right, okay.
Yeah. Because that's how I was diagnosed. That's level 1. It's low support needs.
Right.
Level 1, level 2, level 3.
That's significant enough.
Low support needs, medium support needs, high support needs.
It doesn't. It's low, yeah.
You might be like a person is not able to live alone, for example.
Right.
They
okay.
need support, and so usually low support needs is like you can function alone. You can maybe have a job, etc. Because I've been working my whole life supporting myself.
Yes. Okay.
Oh, but just to go back to the diagnosis story, so the psychiatrist, after we talked probably for an hour and a half, and he said, I'm not yet sure about the autism, but I think you have ADHD.
Okay.
I had never ever thought about, but he gave me the idea. So then I kind of started researching that as well. And then that led me in a few years to getting both. Let's say technically they're not diagnoses. I think they're assessments. But close enough.
And then also when we met on the Octopus movement, which I've now learned is not about neurodivergence, but is about non-linear thinking.
Yeah.
We talked about bisexuality because I run a group called Neuroqueer PT, and
so I do identify as bisexual, but like I told you, I've never been in a relationship with a woman. But I mean, I'm clearly, attracted to women. I've always been in relationships with men. My own theory hypothesis is that sexuality is also like a spectrum.
Yes, I agree.
So that I mean, it's probably a more complex spectrum than just a linear one. But if the way I think about it is that some people could be like 100% heterosexual or 100% homosexual, and somebody could be 50-50. I would say I'm probably like 80 hetero and 20, homosexual or whatever, something like that. I think I still crave that sort of polarity of male energy, and I've always enjoyed the company of men. So yeah.
Yeah. So you said you had some affairs, experiences with women, and how's that been as you travelled and lived in different countries?
I'm pretty much closeted, so I don't really openly talk about it.
But you're talking about it on the camera now.
But I'm just saying that I haven't had the experience of fortune.
Yeah. And what are the attitudes are like in terms of those two countries? Would you say?
I haven't had any issues.
No issues. Enjoy it. It's been mostly joyous then.
It has. It's been good, yeah.
What would you say is both exhilarating and exhausting about travel as a neurodivergent human?
I think before you even asked in the Octopus group chat about if somebody wants to do an interview, the others were talking about travel and saying that how much they struggle with it. And I didn't want to say anything because I felt like I would be somehow not validating their experience of really, really struggling. So I didn't want to say that I'm in my comfort zone when I travel.
Okay.
Love it. I mean, it's my number one special interest. Always has been.
Yes.
Since I was a child. I just love to travel, and I'm addicted to it.
You're addicted to travel?
Absolutely.
What does it give you? In terms of the addiction?
I'm sure it gives me dopamine.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I've got to say that, there is that dopamine hit for me when I'm traveling, for example, it is It's stressful going through the airports sometimes for me. Now that's why I've got EasyJet. I have invested in £20 a month, £20, €20 a month to pay for the speedy boarding express at the security, and then also making sure I have the same seat all the time.
This is what I hear from neurodivergent people, that they want the sameness, whereas I don't care.
Yeah.
I do not
But
care.
that's just in the airport. When I get out of the airport, I don't want that.
Alive when I'm traveling.
Yeah.
And especially alone, actually. Even though I love to travel with other people, so I love it. But I saw an Instagram post through that. I was like, I do all of those. I didn't realize they
What were they?
I made some notes based on what I could remember. So, for example,
Okay.
I do look for like the cheapest flights.
Yeah.
Often that means layovers, but I will never do a short layover. Like, I don't do one that stresses me out way, 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 way too much.
Yeah.
So I would rather wait 3 hours, at the airport than be rushed. And I don't mind waiting because I always have a book. I usually have a physical book so that in case I don't know, run out of battery or whatever, or leave it on the plane, etc. So I don't get bored if I have a good book. I can be there forever. So then I have like a master packing list.
Okay.
So when I'm going to travel, I just copy that and then I start tailor that.
What is in the master packing list?
Let's say if I'm going on a beach holiday, then I'll take away the, the parka. And then as I'm packing, I will like delete the items from the list. And by the time I'm left over, there's just like, remember to pack your phone charger and your key.
How do you store them? Have you got them on like a PDF?
It's on my notes, and now my boyfriend showed me how to like keep them forever. So, so even if my phone dies, then it's there. So that's been a very helpful thing. So I always bring a sleep mask, 100% silk sleep mask.
100% silk as well. Why?
Because otherwise it leaves marks on your face, and so I quite often sleep on the plane, or even on buses and trains, whatever.
Yeah.
And I always have the earplugs for sleeping. Like, for example, I stay in hostels. And if I have the sleep mask and the earplugs, I can sleep anywhere. I often end up going back to the same countries. For example, I go to Spain maybe twice a year. The fact that I go to the same countries a lot, especially recently, I think it is a comfort thing. I do want to go to other countries, but I somehow end up always going to the same one.
I mean, do you build relationships in those places? In
some cases, I do visit friends, for example.
Yeah. But
I do every kind of thing. So I've stayed in hostels in like a 20-bed dorm, and I've sometimes made friends, and I sometimes have kept in touch with those friends, or I could do like a guest house with a private room and maybe a shared bathroom, or I could do like an Airbnb. I like everything. I mean, if I could afford it, I would probably do like 5-star hotel.
Would you?
Yeah, and I have traveled like that a lot because I used to travel for work.
Don't you find them impersonal though?
I mean, honestly, everything is good. I don't know if you have read Eat, Pray, Love.
I have. So
she says that she thinks about travel the way a new mother thinks about her baby who cries like day and night. And of course the mother is just gonna love the baby, and like even the baby throws up on her, she loves the baby. So she says
it's like travel when travel throws up on you.
So I think about travel in the same way. It doesn't matter what it does to me, I love it.
Really?
So it doesn't matter if it's completely and utter shit.
You're like a slave to it.
Is a mother a slave to her baby? No.
Well, no,
it's
true. It's unconditional.
I always get to the airport early, minimum 2 hours before. Yeah. I mean, sometimes I think it might be even 3 hours before, but minimum 2, no matter, even if it's like a short national flight, I would still be there 2 hours before. And lately I've been making tweaks because I used to, as I said, look for the cheapest flights. So that was like sometimes red eye, and now I'm trying to avoid those because they wipe me out. So I also try to nowadays build in like maybe a day before and a day after the travel to recover, so I don't have to go to the office. It's not always possible, but I'm trying to have like slightly longer breaks so that a little bit of.
And this is like learning how to not burn out.
Yeah, so I've been noticing that the travel is becoming more difficult, and it's probably because of menopause,
getting older, energy levels.
Exactly. So I'm thinking lately also that I might need to cut back on travel a little bit.
How's that feel?
It might have to be done to just like not burn out. But that doesn't mean international travel. It could just mean going to the next town for a weekend or something. But
just something to reset, is it?
Yeah. Yeah. And but I might have to cut back a little bit. Let's see if I manage, because it's probably the ADHD that I say I want to do something, but then it's super hard to actually implement it that I'm saying that I should do.
Do you do that thing which I used to do a lot, which basically you have a trip, you're on a trip, and you book the next trip before you finish the trip?
Yeah, it could be, but what I find is that, because I'm a very social person and I have a lot of different friend groups from different circles, different countries, all this. So I find that I don't actually plan my travel; it finds me.
Well,
I mentioned that I do playback theater.
yes,
So
yes,
so
yes.
for example,
Perhaps for people who are listening who don't know what playback is, can you explain a little bit?
a form of improvisational theater. It was founded in 74 in the US, and it has spread all over the world. You could say that it's kind of like a form of therapeutic theater. It's been studied at the university here in Lisbon, and it's been found that it's therapeutic for all the participants, for the teller who tells their story. So basically the premise is that audience members are invited to tell a story from their life, and then we actors honor that story with performance. So basically, if there's a conference, then I will go. I have in October, we're doing one here in Portugal. So that's one example. But then there's others, like just a friend can invite me over. For example, now my next trip is my best friend from Finland is coming because she doesn't know Portugal. She wants to do a road trip. We're going to drive up from Lisbon all the way up to Porto and stop at a lot of places along the way. So things like this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Invitations, and I find it very hard to say no. And they seem to fill up my calendar automatically without me having to plan any trips. Or let's say, like, my boyfriend says, let's go to Algarve for the weekend. And I say, okay.
Yeah, that's nice. That's great.
And it could be like today. He tells me on the day, and then we go like very short.
I love those spontaneous trips. You describe yourself as still figuring out who you are behind the mask.
Yes.
What has the process of unmasking looked like for you? And how's your relationship with your boyfriend, who you said is Portuguese and autistic?
So unmasking, I don't think I'm still unmasked, to be honest.
You don't think you are?
No. Because I mean, I work in the corporate world and I'm still closeted. My colleagues, my managers know about my diagnosis, but my colleagues don't know. Fine, I'm not hiding it, but I'm not like, hello, I'm autistic, like that kind of thing. I think in the corporate world, the bank where I work is very, very traditional. And I feel like you want to appear to be as competent as possible, and saying like that you're autistic, it might make people view it in a different way because they don't necessarily know it.
Okay.
But anyway, it is a process. And what I found is that the mask is such a huge part of who I am that I don't know which things that I think are important for me are actually because of me wanting them or me valuing them versus society saying that I should want those things.
Okay.
One example you were saying about my relationship with my boyfriend is that we don't live together. He's autistic. He needs his own space.
Yes.
And he doesn't necessarily ever want to live together, even though we've been together now 6.5 years.
Well, it's a while, yeah.
Yeah. So at first I was thinking that's terrible, and maybe I was trying to convince him, etc. But now I'm thinking maybe I don't know if that's something I want, or it's something I've been conditioned to think you're supposed to do when you're in a community.
Yeah. So what's the social gain versus
exactly? And I still
preference.
don't know 100%. Or do I want to marry him, or is that just society saying that one should get married? I'm still undecided, and I find it very, very hard to know what do I actually want, and to separate kind of the social norms from what I really personally want. Get in touch with what's actually important for me. And now I'm starting to lean towards not really caring that we don't live together. It actually I'm starting to see also benefits.
Yeah, I think so. I think there are benefits, aren't there? Yeah. You have your own space.
Is also it keeps the relationship very fresh. You don't get sick of each other because you only see each other when you want to.
Yeah. And the expectation of getting married and the expectation of living together, that is something that we have to kind of feel that we want to follow. Yeah. And there's big pressure. So is it the pressure, or is it something else that you want to nurture? So tell me about the location independent business that you're developing, please.
So this is something I started in September, but I was already for a long time wanting to find some way to make money outside of the current world. So I was looking into various things like working as a freelance writer, and I happened to click on a paid ad for something, and it ended up being this business model, which is like network marketing slash affiliate marketing, like high ticket affiliate marketing. I don't know if you've heard of Inat. It's a Japanese company, and they do like water ionizers and other health products. And so basically that's what I started, and that's why I have my Instagram now. And the idea is also for me to run paid ads to attract people who might be interested.
Okay.
So the model is basically to build leverage so that eventually I would be able to only work limited hours but still replace my income. But
So this is a side hustle at the
it's a
moment.
side hustle. I'm still working full time, and this
Yeah.
is a side hustle, but I've already been in it enough to have met people who have been able to replace their income and have quit their jobs, and it's a really fantastic company with fantastic.
What's the big dream?
The big dream is to buy a house in the countryside in Portugal, grow my own organic vegetables,
Yes.
have a swimming pool, have a big house where I can, invite people to stay over, and enjoy my life. I mean, I want to be able to retire and not keep working forever, because the way it's been looking lately is like I wouldn't be able to afford to retire at 65, which is only like 5 years away.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that the side hustle will then allow me to, to have to not be a poor old lady, as long as I'm comfortable.
Yeah, that you've got the
Yes.
good quality of life.
Yeah. Yes. And of course, because it is a network marketing model, it means that I'm also helping other people do the same thing. And that's important for me to be able to help people. And actually, if you look at my business Instagram, I am saying that I help other neurodivergent women.
Okay, so that's your nano niche.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. And why were you drawn to that? Because is this something connected to authenticity?
Yes, exactly. Authenticity, being your authentic self online, is what draws people in.
What does that mean to you?
Your vibe attracts your tribe.
Vibe attracts your tribe.
Yeah.
Lovely, lovely. What does it mean to you to be authentic?
It means that I'm trying to unmask and to be fully myself, and basically warts and all. So even if I'm having a completely shit day, I will still post. I'm in the Chinese horoscope. I'm a fire horse. Fire horse year. It's every 60 years. I might not even see the next fire horse year because I'll be 120.
Okay.
Maybe I'll see it, maybe I won't. So I figured now is my year and I have to make the most of it. And I was terrified of doing a talking story on Instagram. I was terrified of it, which is weird because I'm not a shy person at all in real life, but I was absolutely terrified. But then I just I'm just going to do it. I'm going to challenge myself. I've been doing it since Fire Horse Year started, which was February 17th. I'm doing it every single day without fail. And I'm actually doing health tips, like daily health tips, and about mental health, about physical health, every kind of whatever I can think of, and doing that every day. And now I feel completely comfortable. So I got over that fear.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that authenticity, I'm hoping then will, attract my tribe.
So you said you've lived in 12 countries, traveled to 45.
Yes.
Have you got any funny story or misunderstanding or cultural mix up that you've experienced through the lens of a neurodivergent person in those countries?
I remember one thing that happened. So I was working in the Czech Republic. That was actually the height of my career. I was the department head with 3 teams underneath and like 50 people, 50 subordinates. And
so in a good leadership role.
Yes, and a bunch of us were out, like, drinking, whatever, like after work, that type of thing. And when I was saying goodbye to people, there was one guy who was a subordinate. I hugged him and he went completely like stiff, and I realized, oh, I've done that. Like, it was way too familiar.
Yeah.
That his boss is boss.
Yeah.
And for me, it was kind of natural. And
because it was a social situation.
The culture is a little bit more strict in the hierarchy. That was just one thing that came to my mind.
I think when I go back to the UK, I'm always a bit confused in the first 24 hours, actually. If I greet someone, I don't know how to greet them.
These days, I'm also very confused because, like, in Portugal, we do the cheek.
The 2 kisses, yeah.
Cheek kisses almost right away. Not even, I mean, sometimes like the first time you meet them, if it's a friend of a friend, you'll cheek kisses even if it's the first time you're meeting them. And now also, like I went to Ibiza with a bunch of British people. And so, okay, some of them I hug, but some are like, hi, and you don't even have any physical contact, and it feels awkward to
It
me
feels
now
awkward.
of, being here. And yeah, it's sometimes really hard to know what's the right.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I do go in and I say, "Portuguese kiss?" And they go, "What's that?" It sounds like you're trying to hook up with your friend or something. It sounds very exotic, erotic kind of thing to
Yeah,
say,
I
but
mean, in Finland, we're very, very, very hands off.
yeah,
Very like social distance is like there were jokes around during COVID. There were so, that kind of thing. So we have a very, very like different cultures have a different distance.
they have definitely, yeah.
Apparently, in sort of the Arab world, you're supposed to be so close that you can smell the others. But I mean, it's in that culture. It's normal.
Not
Standing too close, and I'm taking a step back, and they're taking a step forward, and yeah.
really, yeah. And that is something really what you might have experienced being in the travel world. I'm surprised about your business. I thought it would be something related to travel, actually.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah,
Okay.
but the thing is that I have a lot of special interests. So travel is one, but health and let's say well-being, human well-being in the largest possible sense of the world has always been an obsession as well.
Yeah.
Like from maybe not as young an age as travel, but like from my actually I started meditating at age 12 and doing yoga at age 12. So yes, it has been.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
Maybe it was an unconscious attempt to self-medicate because of having ADHD.
Yeah.
I knew that I had
Yeah.
a very busy brain, and because
Mm.
not your average.
Because it wasn't even recognized ADHD at that age. The ADHD.
Basically, what was recognized is that you can have both simultaneously. Just recently, the DSM, it was seen that you cannot have both.
It's impossible in one
Yes.
human to have both.
Yes. And now what I've been seeing online recently is that the latest research is saying that ADHD might not actually be autism and ADHD, but it might be a third thing, which is a completely different.
That would make sense, yeah.
It would.
Absolutely.
Because if I'm reading about purely autism, purely ADHD, neither of them fully, I don't relate fully to either. But then when I read ADHD, it's like, okay, yes, that's exactly me.
But is there anything you'd like to share?
Instagram for my business is mimi.amnel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
AMNELL.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great.
My business one is Mimi H. Amnel. But
Okay. Any website? Not yet.
no website.
Maybe in the future. Maybe.
I mean, there is a link to my the free web class if somebody wants to find out about the business.
Okay.
That's on the Instagram.
Got Empower. I'm working with in my own business, empower.com as well. This is about neurodivergent, working with people in coaching and businesses, individuals and businesses, creating a more healthy environment within the workplace. Really trying to get people to recognize and become less traditional, like you've mentioned about your workplace, more accepting, and in leadership positions, particularly encouraging people to be more empathetic within leadership and leading in an empathetic way.
That's interesting because I actually, like decades ago, before I knew anything about neurodivergence, because companies have a mission statement. And so then I was doing some leadership coaching like way back, and we were encouraged to write our own mission statement.
Right.
And I did, and mine was be instrumental in the creation of the organizational culture of the future.
Yes.
But I didn't really define what that is, but now I'm starting to understand what I meant. So basically, it is like inclusive in terms of, for example, disability, in terms of neurodivergence. But then it can also be this like different business model, which is like being an independent business owner in this like high ticket affiliate market.
Yeah. So you'd be a solo entrepreneur and a
Exactly.
founder in that.
Yeah, exactly. But not having to create a product and not having to ship the product or, it's all taken care of because it's through affiliate marketing.
Yes.
So both of those are supporting my overall mission. Thank you so much.